All right, ladies and gentlemen, we got a busy day ahead. Now, you might as well just say this so you guys can see my face when I say this. Yo, peoples, Qushu 92 here, and welcome to my final reaction to Kaiju number 8. Today is the last chapter of Kaiju number 8. And wow, I'm just now noticing that it is very, very bright. Hold on, let me actually fix that. I don't know why it switched up on me. Cause I'm light, but I'm not that light. But there we go. That's a comfortable tone. That is a comfortable skin tone. But, ladies and gentlemen, today is the final chapter of Kaiju number 8. And Ravi, it's good to see you. Wow, you're very oversaturated. Don't worry, I fixed it. Thank God that I have a lamp though where I can adjust the brightness and also adjust the brightness on the computer as well. But today is my final reading of Kaiju number 8. It feels just like, maybe a couple of weeks ago when I just started. I'm not going to say days ago because, but it felt like it was weeks ago when I had just started Kaiju number 8 and I was reacting to every single chapter. I was reacting to every single chapter. And then once I fully catch up, I come to find out that there's only 3 chapters left. And now we're here after being on break for quite a while. And now it's the final chapter of Kaiju number 8 and the series is over. So, I just want to say to every single person who has watched my read-throughs of me going through Kaiju number 8's very first chapter, all the way until now, I just want to say thank you for, the support and love you guys have shown as I cover this entire series. Let's go ahead and see how the final chapter ushers us into to basically this series finale. Because last we left out on, the Meireki Dai Kaiju was destroyed by Kafka. Its core was completely obliterated, and it let out one desperate, futile cry before it started to fall apart and dissipate. And all the grudges and anguish of all the samurai who died, the countless samurai who died fighting this Meireki during the Meireki era, they were finally able to find peace. And in doing so, it seemed that was the heart that Kafka had was essentially made up of all those souls that were basically giving him power in order to fight the Meireki. And with the Meireki gone, they no longer have any need to stick around, which kind of made it seem that Kafka was going to fade away with the rest of them, since there was no real reason for that kaiju side of him to exist anymore. It was pretty much made up of the grudges and rage of those who lost their lives fighting the Meireki all the way back then. And Kafka was reserving himself to just fading away if it meant bringing peace to the world and, ensuring that his friends have a place that they can continue to live in, despite there still being kaiju around. At least the most dangerous ones have been taken care of. He felt like he did his job. Until we get the visage and vestige of Isao Shinomiya, who gives his heart instead to Kafka and tells him to build a better future for everyone, including his daughter Kikoru. So in doing so, Kafka has apparently been given a second chance to live instead of fading away. And the last thing we see is Kafka, essentially, the kaiju side of him breaking apart, and we see his face underneath. Because going back, we learned that if Kafka kept using his kaiju power, he would have stayed that way permanently, with no way to ever return. And the first thing that happens when he lands on the ground is that the faceplate of his kaiju side breaks apart and reveals his human side underneath. Opening done, let's see the final chapter of Kaiju number 8. And we just have Director General Shinomiya right here in front of Kafka. The last thing I saw was Director General Shinomiya fading away, his back turned toward me. I should have disappeared along with number 8, but when I came to, I was in a Defense Force hospital. And 4 months had passed. And we see the doctors and... Yeah, we see the doctors and they're all looking at Kafka. as he goes, "Okay, just remain calm and listen to me." And Kafka looks at himself in the reflection because he definitely has lost some weight because the dude has been unconscious for 4 months. This dude has been in a coma for 4 months.
Who the heck is that?
Kaiju number 8, final chapter.
Number of kaiju emerged, 1,316. Number of Daikaiju, 18. Number of identified kaiju among them, 7, including 1 special case. Damages accrued 56.4 trillion yen. With Tokyo as the epicenter, the devastation extended throughout Japan, with many casualties on and off the battlefield.
And Kafka is just catching up on news.
The scale of the damage was said to be miraculously small, but even so, the Kaiju number 9 cataclysm was the greatest major cataclysm in the Defense Force's history.
So now we get the stats of everything that happened when number 9 showed up, and everything happened since number 9 showed up. Number of kaiju emerged, 1,316. Number of Daikaiju, 18, and this encompasses everything that's happened throughout the series, including 7 identified kaiju, 56.4 trillion yen in damages across all the fights we've witnessed throughout this series, with tons of casualties.
The scale of the damage was said to be miraculously small, but even so, the Kaiju number 9 cataclysm was the greatest major cataclysm in the Defense Force's history. And as for Kaiju number 8...
And we cut to the news.
Citizens only continue to grow more concerned. Even now, there are several speculations flying around regarding their true identity.
Wait, really? That's not good.
After they were spotted fighting alongside the Defense Force, theories emerged on social media about a new bioweapon within the division, a kaiju with a human mind, or a space alien.
And Kafka is slowly, shaving the stubble that's built up with him being unconscious for 4 months.
There have even been theories that the cataclysm itself was a plot by the government and the Neutralization Bureau to reduce the population, with Kaiju number 8 being the mastermind behind it all.
There you have it. Okay, but why though?
4 months has passed, and the Defense Force has yet to disclose any details about Kaiju number 8, classifying it as a highly confidential matter of defense.
And Kafka is getting his Defense Force suit back on.
I'm not entirely sure how I managed to revert to human form. I can feel a human heart beating in my chest where a kaiju core should be. And there's one more strange thing.
And as Kafka looks in his mindscape, the kaiju that was created from the grudges of all those samurai, it's still within Kafka.
It's still here. Maybe Director General Shinomiya kept the grudges in place. Seems like something he'd do.
And it shows the samurai preparing to go off, and then Isao just grabs him by the shoulder and goes,
I won't let you guys go just yet. For national defense.
And the samurai's all like,
Or maybe it just means that they're willingly going to help out in this era.
And it just shows the sleeping kaiju that makes up Kaiju number 8. And then we get someone who goes,
Are you ready?
And then Kafka looks behind him. This is going to be a long chapter because there's 52 pages here. So I hope you guys don't mind.
Are you ready?
And Kafka looks behind him, and it's Mina with Okonogi.
Hey there.
And then Mina's about to say something, and then she stops and then goes,
I have the car waiting. Let's go.
And then both Mina and Kafka get in the car.
Oh, awesome! It really is almost all reconstructed. Actually, it looks like he got a power-up.
Because remember, Tachikawa Base was, pretty much devastated by the last couple of Daikaiju attacks. Japan Defense Force Tachikawa Base. And it definitely does look like it's got an upgrade. The buildings look like they're even bigger than before and well more reinforced. Then Okanogi speaks up.
Not only was it decimated from number 10's raid, but the number 9 cataclysm set back the restoration efforts even further. We plan to make significant improvements.
Oh. This is where I got into that spat with Kikoru on exam day.
And he's looking at the parking space where Kikoru was basically messing with the van that he and Ichikawa pulled up in way back when.
That jerk, she said this was her lucky number.
And we have a little image here that shows Kikoru for the first time.
And the grounds are the same as ever. Everyone was fast, but Iharu, Haruichi, and Aoi were so fast it felt like they were cheating. The new hall is huge. Reminds me of the induction ceremony.
And it shows all these different images from Kafka's past. Him being in track and field with everyone. Him doing push-ups with everyone.
Even the ruined dorms are close to complete, I see. Bathing with the boys sure was fun.
And it also shows every single one of those dudes passed out because they were in the sauna too long. And then Okanogi again.
Even the training grounds is going to be renovated to be 1.5 times bigger.
But then it shows Kafka going, but that means punishment laps around the perimeter are going to be even tougher! And then we cut back to a new area.
The main gate is outside here.
Oh, this is...
And Kafka walks out, and he sees the area where he had been detained when he used his kaiju form to save Kikoru from number 9 when number 9 showed up at the training grounds. He remembers that this is where all of the Japanese Defense Force had their guns ready and pretty much not aimed at him, but they were all standing at the ready with guns because of that revelation of him essentially being a kaiju.
This is where Ichikawa told me. I have faith that you'll come back.
And he's just thinking about everyone he's ever met. Mina, Director General, him fighting with the Director General.
I'll be waiting. Kaiju number 8 is now contained.
I'm Kafka Hibino. In order to survive, you must.
And it shows him fighting Director General Isao.
I'll turn into number 8 and fight.
And then it cuts back to the present after thinking of all these thoughts.
I see. So I finally come back home.
And as soon as Kafka turns around, instead of it just being Mina and Okanogi there, everyone has shown back up. Kikoru, Captain Narumi, well, not Captain Narumi, but Hoshina is there. Kikoru, Hoshina, Aoi, Haruichi, Iharu, every person, and along with Ichikawa, everyone, all of his friends, his major friends, they've all shown up to welcome Kafka back. Yep, Aoi, Haruichi, Iharu, Hoshina, Kikoru, all the girls and all the other members as well.
Guys, you're...
Sir, glad to have you back. And Ichikawa is just smiling at Kafka. I had faith that you'd return to us. And it's not just them, there's even more people who have shown up to welcome Kafka back. And he just starts tearing up. And he shuts his eyes and then squats down and he starts slapping his face, which kind of alarms both Mina and Ichikawa. And he's slapping his face, and then Kikoru just breathes out a sigh, like,
Kafka.
And then Kafka stands up. We can't see his eyes, but but he's still crying. He goes,
yeah, glad to be back.
And he's just like, he's got snot coming down his nose. His eyes are just full of tears. And then Iharu goes,
Old man!
And he just slams directly into Iharu. He just slams directly into Kafka.
Yeah!
And while Kafka's on the ground, Iharu just goes,
Huh? You had a practice or something?
I've been asleep for 4 months, genius! And then everyone's laughing. Then we get Aoi go, and then we have Haruichi going, that Iharu really is dauntless when it comes to stuff like this, huh? He does make things less awkward for the rest of us. Then Aoi speaks up.
He'd make a great spearhead captain for the 3rd Division with that attitude.
Then everyone starts to help up Kafka. Kikoru is the one who does it.
You were asleep way too long. I was wondering if you'd ever wake up.
We would come visit you from time to time. You didn't notice us?
How could I? I was asleep. And it just shows Hoshina, Okanogi, and everyone else just standing back and watching. And I think Okanogi, she has tears in her eyes as well, but it's kind of drawn on top of her glass lenses. But I think that's the case here. And then, but everyone's smiling.
Also, while you were sleeping,
Who is that? Guki?
Guki got married to
Tsukino?
Tsukino.
No way! That's a shock! That's a shock and a half! And then Kikoru's laughing, Ichikawa's smiling, everyone is just happy. Let's touch a bit on what happens to everyone afterward. I'm trying to make sure, I feel like this is still Kafka doing this narration right now. I like this chapter already. We're just now getting to the halfway mark. We're on pages 26 and 27. We still got some ways to go. I'm so glad I set the Bonanza stream to 1 o'clock. Let's touch a bit on what happens to everyone afterward. Ichikawa, Iharu, Haruichi, Aoi. By the next year, they'd be assigned to lead troops as platoon commanders. As a result, analysts at headquarters say that the 3rd Division has become comparable to the 1st Division in terms of combat ability and has entered its golden age. The number of applicants were expected to drop due to the number 9 cataclysm, but contrary to the Defense Force's expectations, it looks like applicants, because of the letter I and L are so close together. Applicants to the force quadrupled compared to last year. Which means Mina and Vice Captain Hoshina are the busiest they've ever been. And both Mina and Hoshina cannot stand the amount of paperwork that they gotta go through.
I hate office work. All right, keep them hands moving.
And then Okanogi is just beset by tons and tons of paperwork as well. Kikoru received an unprecedented promotion and will be vice captain of the 1st Division as of her second year. And it shows her standing in her mother's battle gear, her mother's numbers weapon suit alongside Captain Narumi. She's dedicated to becoming the strongest and hopes to surpass her mom and dad. And it shows Kikoru praying at her parents' graves. In accordance with that, Vice Captain Hasagawa has been bumped up to HQ staff officer. And then it cuts to Narumi, who's just basically picking and teasing on Hasagawa. Why are you going to headquarters without me? You will pay, you will pay, you will pay, you will pay. It's like Narumi's a ghost around him, complete with the little white mark on his head. You will pay! He said that Captain Narumi voiced complaints out of pride despite having no interest in moving to headquarters. And then it cuts to Kikoru, who goes,
The captain of the 1st Division has to be the strongest. Who in the world would be your replacement, Captain Narumi?
Say what? Well, you do raise a good point there. There is no one else. Oh. And then it cuts to Kikoru, who's just giving thumbs up to Asagawa, going,
I'll force you out one day.
But apparently, his combat power isn't the only thing doing some growing. Now I can leave things to Narumi in peace. But apparently his combat power isn't the only thing doing some growing. There were 7 identified kaiju neutralized in the number 9 cataclysm. Tissue of 6 of them, excluding the already weaponized number 10, are currently in storage. One of them, number 12, has shown aptitude for Captain Soichiro of the Western Division. Since all of them are extremely dangerous kaiju with advanced intelligence and sentience, whether they will be converted to weapons or scrapped is being carefully considered. In particular, the body tissue of kaiju number 9 has been put under number 6 level cold storage, and is currently under strict lockdown in the deepest depths of the Ariake base. And lastly, there's me, Kafka Hibino.
And it shows Kafka trying to buy some food in the grocery store, and then there's an earthquake all of a sudden.
Is it a kaiju? This quake is huge! Huh? This is bad, isn't it?
This is bad, isn't it? It's gotta be close! And then Kafka pulls out a badge going, I'm with the defense force. Everyone calmly follow evacuation instructions. And then a kaiju breaks through in a building a fair distance away from the grocery store. Run! I was trying to hold that as long as possible. This is someone just screaming while they're running.
This is Hibino. Kaiju emergency in Nishikimachi. In Nishikimachi district.
And then we have Hoshina.
We have its signal. Dispatching the division right away. Be careful of Yoju and help guide any citizens to safety.
Roger.
Kafka. Research facilities around the world want to know the identity of Kaiju number 8. If it gets out, then you'll be in danger. Don't do anything stupid.
I know, sir. I'll stick to rear guard support till the division arrives.
Don't do anything stupid.
Evacuate this way! I'm with the defense force! Remain calm!
And then it shows in the distance, Kafka can see that a Yoju is directly, a kaiju is directly in front of some kids that have visages that are kind of similar to a young Mina and a young Kafka. And they're both terrified as this kaiju is directly in front of them, like a T-Rex kind of looking kaiju. And its jaws are slobbering as it prepares to eat the kids. And it's sniffing the kids.
It's no good.
Oh wait, this is the kid.
It's no good. We can't run away.
And then it cuts to the girl that's next to him going,
I'm going to join the defense force. This is no time to be afraid of a guy like this.
and the kid, the boy that's next to her, he falls backwards. And in the distance, past this kaiju, he sees the Japanese Defense Force accepting applicants billboard with Mina on the front.
That's right. If we can't run away anyway.
And they both stand in front of this kaiju. The boy holding two large rocks in his hands, and the girl holding like a pipe in her other hand. They're preparing to fight a kaiju, and they're just kids. And then the kaiju bears down on them. Ah! And they prepare to fight. And then there's an explosion and a blood splatter. And we see the kaiju, whose mouth is now closed, and it's looking confused. And it shows that Kafka has saved both of these kids in a blink of an eye. But he's still in his human state. And we get narration.
Kafka Hibino, officially assigned to the 3rd Division as a result of gaining trust during the number 9 Cataclysm, on the newly established on-site Kaiju Analysis Squad, known as the Analytical Support Squad. Oh wait, Kafka Hibino, officially assigned... Oh wait, this is Kafka saying this, not narrator voice. Officially assigned to the 3rd Division as a result of gaining trust during the number 9 Cataclysm, on the newly established on-site Kaiju Analysis Squad, known as the Analytical Support Squad. I serve as the platoon leader.
And then Kafka speaks to the kids.
You two held out well. I'll get you home in one piece, so make sure to keep what you're about to see a secret, okay?
And then energy starts to crackle around Kafka.
And occasionally,
And Kafka transforms in front of these kids. Mind you, Kafka's state looks like his first state, not his ascended white form he had, but back to the black form he had.
Kaiju number 8!
And occasionally, I fight on as Kaiju number 8.
The end. Ladies and gentlemen, you have bore witness. Oh, what's going on, Designs? Oh, who's going on? Busy, lots of deadlines this Friday. Please make sure you pace yourself. But yes, ladies and gentlemen, this is the end of Kaiju number 8. Kafka's adventure of this man. Started out as a kaiju cleaning crew, dude. Cleaning up the insides and outsides and even the disgusting parts of a kaiju. Then got blessed with power beyond recognition that kept growing. That was put in a situation where those he called friends would hunt him down, but his friends stuck with him. And we've seen hardships. We've seen so many close calls. I want to say so many close calls. I'll say what I say afterwards. So many close calls of Kafka having to deal with fighting as a kaiju against other kaiju, and also trying to protect himself and those he cares about due to the very nature of how people treat kaiju as a whole. Seeing him go from just a basic crew dude, a basic cleanup crew, to literally as it stands, he's pretty much the most powerful kaiju in existence, because with the Meireki being gone, Kafka is now the most powerful kaiju that exists. So now he's fighting as a platoon leader of the analytical support squad, but also can still fight as Kaiju number 8, because Isao ain't letting them vestiges of the samurai go, because it's for national defense. So Kafka, I'm gonna let you know now. I originally thought that Kafka was gonna live out his life, still helping out and whatnot, but he wouldn't be a kaiju anymore. But it turns out he can still be that and still help everyone fight. And now he occasionally fights as Kaiju number 8 as the war against Kaiju continues on, even though more powerful Kaiju are pretty much gone at this point. So we end the note with Kafka still having the power to protect those closest to him and to protect the innocent as Kaiju number 8. And I like how this ended, because it ends the same way it kind of started, with Kafka wanting to become part of the defense force to fight Kaiju with Mina. And we end this series watching two kids have this same proclamation, and they get saved by Kaiju number 8 himself. I want to say this, even though this whole series has just been 129 chapters, it was very well done. The art was great. The moments, I want to say some of the biggest touch and go moments was when Mina was slowly about to be absorbed by Kaiju number 9. And I was kind of hoping, and I was scared, that the next time I read the chapter, that Mina would get absorbed and we lost Mina. But Kafka came in and saved her, and I was all like, oh my heart! Even though my heart is over here. Oh my heart! I'm so glad that he saved her. And then delivering the final blow to pretty much the most powerful kaiju this series has ever seen, and him beating it, leading up to us finding out that Kikoru is second in command directly underneath Narumi. Hasagawa is now working at headquarters. All the major players and all the top people from Kafka's class during training, they've all become their own platoon leaders as well. Hoshina and Mina are swamped by office work, because now people want to join the defense force now more than ever because of everything that happened during the number 9 cataclysm. This was a satisfying end. This was a meaningful conclusion. Loose ends were tied up. I'm happy about it. Loose ends were tied up. We didn't feel like, oh, it's just ending on a sunset moment and we don't find out what happens to Kikoru or anyone else. It's just like, I'm glad we got to see Aoi, Haruichi, Iharu, and Ichikawa, all of them, and they all came into their own, because that's just how capable they are. And then we end with Kafka standing there as a hero. A hero! This was a very satisfying ending. Nothing out of this world or super crazy, but very satisfying. And that's all I can ask. That's all I can ask of a manga series. Don't go overboard. Just deliver a satisfying end. And it did that. And I'm happy about it. But this also means that I like this ending. I like it as well. I think this is among some of the most satisfying endings I have ever read for a manga series. Yeah, I think this is among some of the most satisfying endings I have ever read on this channel. Fire Force was satisfying. Demon Slayer was satisfying. Which other one did I fully cover? My Hero Academia, I still feel was a very satisfying. But overall, this was a very satisfying ending for this series. Now, I just need to wait on an actual genuine Kaiju number 8 game to come out, so that way I can delve back into the series again, but enjoy it on my own time with games and stuff. Not mobile, though, because mobile is unworthy. It's unworthy. But this was a very good series to cover for all of you. I finally finished it. It's over. It's done. Good for a story to have an ending? Yes, it is good for a story to have an ending. But overall, I really did enjoy reading Kaiju number 8 for all of you. Thank you for all the support. I'm going to go ahead and end this session now because, yeah. You already know the next thing I'm going to cover today. You already know. I'm so excited. It's right here on my screen. I got everything set up and I'm ready. Ah! But ladies and gentlemen, from Kitty to Designs to Holster, every single person that showed up here today, whether you're new here, wondering what is this dude doing talking, I just wanted to say thank you for tuning in to me covering all of Kaiju number 8. It's been a joy, it's been an honor and a privilege. The next series that I am going to cover, otherwise they turn into Boruto, we're not even going to talk about it. We're not even going to talk about Boruto right now. We are not. Doesn't have to be super crazy. Some cases are just 1 + 1 = 2 situation, and these situations are always okay. Nothing crazy is ever needed for an ending. Exactly. It doesn't need to go out with a bang. Sometimes it's okay for things to just be normal, to have a regular ending. Sometimes it's okay for an ending to not be loud. So I'm grateful that it's one of these situations where the ending isn't overly loud. It's just satisfying, and I'm grateful for that. They turn into Boruto or Last of Us Part 2. Kitten 1 driving me crazy for it. Don't worry, we'll get started promptly at 1 o'clock. But I'm done. I've been droning on for way too long. I got some things that I need to take care of, some stuff I need to clean up, and stuff I need to prepare for the session at 1. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been my final reaction to Kaiju number 8. Hope you all enjoyed. Can't wait to see you all in my next video. Like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already, because I am always looking forward to entertaining you. And because I know you guys are coming back anyway. So have a fantastic day. And once again, as always, later, peoples.